Question Nation, Sanbunan Bafetu. Welcome back to Vupatrans with me, OQB. Now, on today's video, Bafetu, I do have my update in terms of, the player's contract. We're going to be talking about Wandile Duba. We will be looking at Dylan Solomons, Bradley Cross, Mhaun Kotha, and the rest of the players whose contracts are coming to an end at the end of the season, which is something that we're all going to be unpacking on today's video, obviously with some short clips where you're going to see certain things. But before we get there, please don't forget to like the video bafethu. I know currently in such a and please do make sure that you subscribe to the channel and help me get this video to at least I don't know, maybe 300 likes. You will let me know if that is accurate or not. So starting off with Kaizer Chiefs, yesterday Umazola Jemulefe has revealed OT players whose contract are coming to an end at the end of the season. Kaizer Chiefs decided, you know what, let us just not let go of you or decide on your future until because to uncertainty. So if they decide to sign a new coach, then that new coach is going to be the one to say, okay, no, I see Abajita, I will let them go, or I do not understand those guys, or I understand those guys, I want to use them. That is where we are currently, in between that. So with that being said, let us just have a look at this.
Sporting director, we've said it on this show, he prefers a CAF Champions League position, which means Chiefs must either finish first or second to attain that. But mathematically still possible, but realistically, if you look at that two-horse race, not. But what I'm getting at here is that because of some uncertainty regarding the coaching situation, we know that Cedric Kaizer and Khalil Ben Youssef, who are interim coaches, so to say, until the end of the season. They've taken over after Nazruddin Nabi and Chiefs parted company. Their contracts come to an end at the end of the season. And I'm led to believe that Chiefs are going to actively look for a coach. But what then this means is that there are several players, and I've counted 7 if I include Kani Samayo, who's on loan from CRB in Algeria. Well, Mayo's on loan.
He's on loan, but obviously that needs to be negotiated.
Yeah, that needs to be negotiated.
Do we keep him,
or does he go back to Algeria? And then that's the goalkeeper, Bruce Vuma.
An important one for them.
Zita Kwinika.
Another, what I would think is important for them.
Dylan Solomons. Ox Mtetwa. Pule Modi. And Gaston Serino.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Because end of the season, which means, as we stand, they should be within their 6 months then.
Yeah, I mean, these players are free to sign pre-contracts if they want to. But, this is Kaizer Chiefs we're talking about. It's highly unlikely.
Coach must come in, almost see everyone, and make that decision alongside. Because Chiefs doesn't work on just a coach saying whatever. It's got to be with the
100%,
the sporting director, possibly the team manager, and all those people that make those decisions. Which therefore means if in July, at the end of the season, if they say, at the end of the contract, if they say, no, we don't want you, you're out of contract, you got to go find a team there.
100%. And I think what's maybe to their advantage, these players, they are currently actually playing. Kaizer Chiefs to maybe even consolidate a top 3 position, get in the CAF Confed Cup, and then and I'm almost certain that Kaizer Chiefs will have a new coach next season.
So there you have it, Bafethu. That was Umazola Jemulefe revealing on Metro FM SA. Now we do have to understand what between those players, Bruce Vuma, Zita Kwinika, Dylan Solomons, Gaston Serino, Pole Modi, Oxem Tetwa, last but not least, Omayo. With Omayo, I did hear from Austin Oti, there's an obligation Oti, they need to sign the player irrespective of whatever happens at the end of the season. Now, I do not know, but chances are Omayo might not be going anywhere. It will depend, obviously, coach, even though I feel like that is just for them to protect themselves, because by us, currently, if they can release players or not renew or not start any talks with the current players, I definitely, this is what Kaizer Chiefs does. They sign players without the new coach. Like, how does that even work? You understand? So now they're just trying to make sure we don't get into that fight. They're very smart. They know how to, do things differently ngendlela nje ezosutha bona, but also trying to protect their image. For me, I feel like already they have a list of who they want to keep and who they want to let go of. And you might be surprised, Makpele season ekuthiwa there's no player that is leaving. Bazo banika ama contract amasha, or all those things. So yeah, guys, it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting. Same as Bruce Vuma, you can't say I'm holding off contract negotiations because the new coach might not want you to use you. Remember what they did with the likes of Wabuki and Dolly, and all those other players. What you are is Lindo coach afike. And then when the coach arrived, because the coach ufike abajita sebahambisiwe, and to my surprise, they said no. Coach Fernando de Cruz is the one that who analyzed the players that were currently there and decided who we need to keep and who not to keep. You understand? So I don't know. I'm just saying. And then moving on, we do have Wandile Tuba. Now Wandile Tuba has spoken in terms of the league chances. Obviously, not the league straight, but remember, Kaizer Jr. does want the team to play CAF, not just CAF Confederations, but also a CAF Champions League, which obviously there is a mandate, there's a plan that has been introduced until up to 2030. Milanje lelo goal libe. So currently, Wandile Tuba has spoken after yesterday's game where we won 3-1 against Orbit College, which, by the way, some of you guys might be convinced that no, it's better than ever, but let's be honest, guys. Let's be honest. Well, we'll see with the next game that we're going to play. ETS Galaxy. I believe we're going to be playing ETS Galaxy, and then we'll play Imagesi, and then last but not least, Polokwane City before we go to the Soweto Derby. Now, I made a mistake yesterday. I thought it was 2 games that we're going to play before the Soweto Derby, but now I see it's TS Galaxy, Magesi, the Polokwane City that we will be taking on before the Soweto Derby. Now, obviously, with TS Galaxy, it will be our home ground, but that doesn't count as something that is going to benefit the team unless we play very well and we manage to score goals, which is going to be a bit difficult, especially against this team, TS Galaxy. They are highly motivated. Obviously, they're even on the net bank. Basasa Corner still driving, pushing, So, hey, kuzobonakala bafethu what we are going to try and do. So, before I forget, guys, this is what Wandile is saying, because it looks like I'm talking and I'm not getting into what Wandile to be saying. It says the aim is the top 2 right now. However, we have to win all of our remaining games. We know that if we can win all of our remaining matches, we will secure a 3rd or 2nd place finish, which, yeah, it sounds like it's easy, but so far with the games that we've played, because looking at most of the teams that we were playing, amaning wabo bewale phansi, so we had to strive. We had to make sure we push by all means necessary so that we can be able to get our wins, because it's very hard, playing against a team that is being threatened by relegation. They try by all means to make sure that team yabo remains on top flight, because at the end of the day, we are talking about a lot of cash that is being generated just by being in the Betway Premiership. So if that doesn't happen, players tend to fight. I remember when we were playing against the Cape Town Spurs before they got relegated. But understand what Mara, how do we get beaten like this by a team that is getting relegated very, very soon? Well, I don't know, but it happens. But this is football. We just needed to be strong. So the remaining games, Mbonile Lapana, TS Galaxy, we have Imagesi, we have Polokwane City, the Soweto Derby. We still do have Sundowns. We have, I think, Chipa United. There's a lot more games that we're still going to play. I'm not too sure all of them, but it is something that we could be prepared for. But so far, because at the end of the day, we are no longer playing against teams that are being relegated, so we can try and hold our own, even though even though this team of ours, they tend to disappoint. So Orlando Pirates nayo, Skukuna United, we're still going to play against them. Amazulu now just sazodlala against bona. So there's still few games in sazodlala just to make sure that at least we can finish on the third spot. Second spot, I'm not too sure, because looking at the gap currently, Orlando Pirates played 22 games, they have 51 points, and we have 39 points, which means that is a huge gap in terms of former points. You need to make sure that you play 3 games in a row just to make sure that you try and keep up with the Orlando Pirates. Now, corner, despite that, Orlando Pirates, when they are going to play, it doesn't mean now they will hold their hands, just try and relax. It's fine, we are waiting for the Kaizer Chiefs to catch up to us. That is not how they're going to do it. They will want to make sure that Nabo, they get as higher as they possibly can in terms of former point, because they want to win the league. And so far, by the looks of things, I think today's games will determine who's going to be number 1 and who's going to move from that. Because if Sundowns plays a draw, they will be on 54 points, and then Orlando Pirates, if they win, they will also be on 54 points. So that is something. And this case, Sundowns today might Durban City lose. I don't know. I don't know. There's something about those teams that are down there. But so far we will see what is going to happen, because Durban City is not a slouch. They are a very, very good team, and so one. And then we jump to Dylan Solomons. Now, Dylan Solomons Bafetu is another player who has been added to the list of injuries. Now, I asked myself as long and what's going on with Dylan Solomons, because he was not on the match day squad. He was not a benchini. Mchita was just gone, disappeared. So that was the biggest question we were asking ourselves with what's going on. So apparently he's been injured. Yeah, I do not know how he got injured, but then Tina, always when it comes to the end of the season, sibana linking injuries, and we tend to struggle. But so far, with the depth that we do have, I think we can be able to survive. Hence, we played Utabiso Munyane. But then, if something happens to him also, then yeah, we would have been in a big pickle. But at least Doro Frosler O'Connor, and he's been training with the rest of the team. The other players who are back, in terms of even Izolo, somebody who missed the squad, or Frosler was there, Kone Benchini, just as a backup for Yenage Utabiso Munyan. Then we look at the Bradley Cross Buffet. Bradley Cross is another player who I do not understand. Izolo, he had a rating of over 8 point something, and he did not win a man of the match, which for me, I feel like Umchita is being underrated. He played the whole 90 minutes. Was playing very, very well. Beautiful passes, finding that eye. I wish all our players can have the eye to cross magic, because he sees things where other people cannot see, and that's what we need, especially in a team like the Kaizer Chiefs. This is a big club. We need players who can have vision, see things when people cannot see. You understand? You look at the goal that was scored by Wandile Duba. It was an assist coming from Bradley Cross, and Luke Cross was not the first time in Monashire, that pass that found Wandile Duba. He had other passes, sometimes even switches play where the opponents least expected. So that is a good performance from him. And I feel like, for me, aside in Lam, I feel like Bradley Cross is another player who can represent the national team. Even though I know some of you here are going to attack me and say, but let's be honest, guys, we have a lot of players who can represent the national team. So currently, Brandon Peterson, Bradley Cross, those two players, they can definitely make sure Mabaya national team, they give out their best performances. But I know yeah, I hear you, but that doesn't take away the fact that Bradley Cross is an incredible player, and currently is the best left foot back I've seen so far this season. If there's another one, you can let me know. But so far this season, he's doing exceptionally well, even better than the player Bisfunu will sign for was Pasadena, which by the way went to Mamelodi Sundowns, and yeah, it's been struggles ever since. And then we look at Muhao Nkota, guys. Now, yesterday we won. A team Yagumhao Nkota decided to post Nkota wearing, the Kaizer Chiefs jersey. Now, I'm not too sure whether he was celebrating with the Kaizer Chiefs won, but one thing I do know is he did say now growing up, he was supporting, and then obviously because he felt like he was being forced to support Amakose for life, he decided he wants to support the team Aitandayo, which is Amapakanea. So yeah, I'm not surprised if likhona Kazini, because Tiwan is a Kazini. If likhona Kazini, it is something ekhona Kazini like, we cannot take away that. I know Orlando Pirates fans busy currently criticizing, attacking him, calling him a traitor and all of that, especially with Chris Excel, they are calling this young boy, which definitely this guy is a traitor. He was not supposed to do this, but it is what it is. Buffet too, you cannot take away something that is there. He could have won any t-shirt, but for now, I feel like it's unnecessary to criticize him because he's not in South Africa and he's not playing for any of the big three. So he can wear Sundowns, he can wear Pirates, he can also wear a Kaizer Chiefs t-shirt or jersey without any complications, because at the end of the day, he's just representing, Mzansi. So I don't know, but let's leave it to that. So yeah, I believe that is all. That is all I had for you, Buffeto. Please do not forget to like the video. I've given you all that I had for today. Like a video, please. Let's just try and get this video to 300 likes, Buffeto. Peace.